right, well, thank you guys for having us. I want to talk to you guys about kind of who we are, so you kind of get some history of kind of who we are. We want you guys to engage in some things, so we'll be asking you some questions as well. But instead of just sitting here looking at these guys like these guys are morons, so you don't speak, and he's bald or whatever, like just to kind of know who we are, coming in to tell you. We met in college, okay? So I went to Lewis Clark State College. You've never heard of it. It's an NAIA school up in the Northwest where you basically win a national championship every year because you're not smart enough to get good grades to go to a D1 school. Hence that guy right there. So we met in college. Okay, I show up in college up there. We're in the dorms, and you're living. I see Jose Rijo Berger on the wall. And I'm like, who's this guy? You know, who's Jose? Why has he got 7 names or whatever? I didn't even know who he was. He comes in like a week later because he thought he was going to go D1, but is stupid, so he couldn't get into those D1 schools. Wasn't very smart, so get good grades. Number 1. Shows up literally. You know who Mr. T is? Yeah, the fool. Like, yeah. He was the Mexican version of Mr. T. So like wife beater, like 7 gold chains, earrings, like Jack. You were pretty jacked back in the day, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, who is this thug? You know, coming in to like play with us. Like, who is this guy, right? So we get to know each other. We play for one of the craziest coaches in America. Literally a coach that would, if you did something wrong, he's like, slap big leaguers in the face, like you suck at baseball. Like, hey Troy, you can hit the ball like Greg Dare, but if they throw it outside that, you're the worst hitter in America. Well, why you back me in the 4-hole then, coach? That's the way it was right there. He would tell you guys basically how it is. So we played for a coach that was ridiculously crazy. If he did anything that he did back then, now, in jail without a doubt, like crazy stuff. But that's where we got to know one another. We won a national championship. And part of the stuff we want to talk to you guys about is something that we actually learned from him and at our school. It's a culture thing. It's a chemistry thing. We won a national championship that year. I was World Series MVP, 2nd place. So don't say it, but he had a higher batting average in the World Series because he can bunt and I couldn't, so I had to hit my way on. So he had a couple extras. But the whole reason why we won up there, and the reason why they continue to win, is because of the culture and the chemistry of the organization. It wasn't about Troy, it wasn't about Jose, it wasn't about who's been there or who's been drafted or whatever. He had a way of getting everyone together on the same page to go compete basically for something that's way bigger than yourself. And at the time, looking back at it, I hated it. I hated him being in my face. I hated him yelling at me how bad I was. I hated about, every day was just like this hard, like you had to go compete every day in everything that you do. Now fast forward, I'm old, right? I'm talking to you guys, and it's the same thing that we try to preach to you guys. The only difference is I'm not going to cuss and swear at you and slap you in the face when you strike out with the bases loaded, okay? But it's the same toughness, it's the same chemistry that if you guys learn to get on this page, it's very, very vital and very important. So hopefully this stuff that we're going to talk to you guys about and you guys are going to engage to as well is helpful for you guys. It's something that we've been doing this for about 20 years. And this isn't like to brag or anything, but we've been doing this for 20 years, basically every day, all day. So coaching teams, coaching coaches, traveling to speak, running different, we coach our little guys, he's coached high school, we've coached everywhere. And this is a culture thing that actually works if you do it, okay? The problem is most of you guys, I shouldn't say you guys, most people that we talk to will look at us and go, yeah, that's awesome. And then you leave right out of here and you keep doing the same thing that you keep doing. And then you wonder why you can't win or you have a chemistry problem with your team. So that's kind of the history. Now we're down here, we moved down here about a year and a half ago. Our main job is training, so we do a lot of training and development type stuff. We have an academy down here that's in Phoenix. If you guys are interested in that, it's only about 45 minutes to get here. We can talk to you about that later. But we basically left up in Seattle. He still goes up and forth, back and forth. We train about 5,000 to 10,000 kids a year up there. A lot of kids, because we're all indoors and it's raining every day, so everybody wants to train. They're not like you guys get to play baseball all the time. So we moved down here to expand for 2 reasons. Number 1, I'm done with the rain. And number 2, it just got way too big and I want to isolate what we do to an elite group of kids doing it. So we were trying to get about 100, 150 kids. We're almost there, but that's what we're doing down here and that's what our main job is, okay? Obviously the whole social media thing, we travel, we speak, we do coaches conventions, we do coaches clinics, we speak all over the place doing this stuff. So again, it's not to brag, it's just to give you guys history of who we are and what we've done, okay? What we're gonna get into first is this guy right here. Pardon his lack of English. Quick fun fact about Jose. This guy. doesn't even know what I'm gonna say. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. I know what you're saying.
Jose was adopted when he was younger. Okay, he'll tell you a story, pretty cool story. His birth name was Jose Rijo. His adopted name was Ian Berger. Okay, so he goes by Jose Rijo Berger because he thought he was Mexican his whole life and he wanted to be a tough guy. Okay, comes to find out, you get the little DNA test. He's not even Mexican his whole life. So he found out he's Colombian. So now he doesn't have to
Makes me
just change your name back to Ian.
Yes,
Whatever.
that's right.
Go ahead.
That's
That's a fun fact about Jose. The
Troy-
Colombian version of
Yeah,
Jose. Good.
yes, yes. Troy has lots of fun versions about Jose. Anyway, all I'm gonna do is just share a little bit of my background, how Rijo Athletics started, how him and I have a whole mission statement of what we want to get accomplished in life, wake up every day with purpose and direction and all that stuff. So, my mom and dad did work together, okay? When they had me, my mom was only 15 years old. I was up for adoption, was in foster care early. And again, my mom and dad worked together. She gave me up for being a good home. I was adopted by a beautiful family, just mom and dad. I was the only kid. And my dad was my hero. Wherever I would go, or wherever he would go, I would go. I mean, I literally would do everything with my dad. I mean, I was the only child. At 7 years old, he got cancer. I didn't know what that meant, but I just know dad couldn't hang out with me. He couldn't play catch with me. He couldn't do anything with me. He was pretty beat up. And I woke up on my 8th birthday. On my 8th birthday, I told grandma, I said, hey, I want to go see dad in the hospital. She says, you're not going to go see your daddy die. So my dad died on my 8th birthday. And when you're young, I mean, I have 6 kids of my own now, but when you're young and you're confused, you don't know what that is or what that looks like or why you can't see dad, you're really confused about the whole thing. Well, unfortunately, we didn't have life insurance. We didn't have a lot of money. It was a middle-class family. And my mom and I had to move to the projects. And so from when I was 8 until I was 16, I lived in the projects that probably no one here has actually ever seen or been in, okay? And so at 13 years old, I started carrying a gun, I started drinking, I started doing drugs. I've personally been shot at multiple times. I have shot at people multiple times. I got involved in a game called United Blood Nation, and it came all the way from San Diego all the way up into Vancouver, Canada. And in that, I saw some stuff and was a part of stuff that you probably never even think of or heard of, okay? And this isn't about me being a tough guy. It wasn't a gang life to try to be a tough guy with your pants sagging down, thinking you're tough and thinking you're, you can actually do something to somebody. It wasn't about that at all. It was a business. It was about making money and protecting your family. So there was times where I was beat. I remember one time I got off a bus and I was beat almost to death in a ditch. Just laid there for dead, just beat up by like 6 dudes that just took it to me. Just laying there and hours later crawling out of it and trying to get back to home. And because of that, I was the kid when I was your guys' age, living in that. I was a really good athlete. 3-sport guy, football, basketball, baseball. I was a lot skinnier and faster back in the day. And in that, I almost lived 2 different lives. I was in and out of alternative school. School was different there. They didn't really keep track of attendance, at least in my area and stuff, they didn't. Back and forth, teachers kind of let me do what I wanted to do. But I was in like, almost to the point where it was like I almost wanted to be dead because life was just so miserable. And I was so insecure. When I was your age, I had to make fun of everybody. Because I didn't have a dad, I didn't have coaches that were looking out for me. I had to make fun of people that were in a wheelchair, that looked funny, that weren't athletes. Constantly making fun of people because of my own insecurities looking back at it, okay? And when I was 18 years old, there was a fight that broke out, and I had a gun, guy had a gun, he put a gun to my neck, okay, just like this. This is over 20, how old am I now, 27 years ago? Yeah, almost 28 years ago. And the gun was pressed to my neck just like this. So like literally pressed against my neck like this. And in this moment, if you're in the lifestyle that I'm in, no opportunity to play college baseball, no opportunity to do anything just because I'm just a hood. And I think, okay, it's time to go. Like this is just time when it's time to go. And I was okay with it. But for whatever reason, in that moment, I just drop my gun and turn and run. And as I'm running, I'm expecting to get shot in the back, okay? But I don't. And I run all the way back up to my home. My mom got remarried when I was 16. They live in a little mobile park, kind of the north end of the city. I was out of the project from 16 to 18, but we weren't far from it. And I went to my mom and I said, I have to get out of Seattle. Like, I just have to get out of here. Because being here, I mean, I have a tattoo on this arm with, friends that have been killed, and 3 of them within that year of that time. And I have another tattoo of 4 guys that were in prison for murder. And I just have to get out of Seattle. I just can't live here. This is it's crazy. And she goes, I got good news for you. And she says, you know, Coach Jay, you played with his son, Kelly Johnson. Like, he wants to take a chance on you and go to his junior college. And I'm like, wait a second, what? Like, he wants to take a chance on me? And so literally within a day or two, we pack up stuff and I go to the east side of the state, okay, to a little junior college that I've never heard of, called Walla Walla Community College. And when she said, I got a place in Walla Walla, well, that's the biggest penitentiary prison in Washington. So I thought I was just like getting closer to be able to go there. I mean, really, that's what I thought it came down to. And the coach sat me down and he said, Jose, you're a good kid, just making bad decisions with bad surroundings. And the first time since my dad died, someone actually told me I was a good kid. Like, I was blown away. And this one coach decided to take a chance on me. He decided to mentor me. He decided to have me in for dinner, teach me how to study, how to do different things. And if you know anything about gang life, you just don't leave, okay? Unfortunately and fortunately for me, the guy who kind of headed up what we did was murdered a week after I left Seattle. They came and ransacked my apartment and different things, took a bunch of stuff, but then I was kind of scot-free, and I was good to go. And I started to make life changes. And I was out of the gang life, and all of a sudden I'm actually working at baseball because the coach took a chance on me. I get drafted by the Dodgers. I think I'm gonna go sign with the Dodgers. They offered me $40,000. $40,000 is like $1 million to me because, you know, where I came from. You know what I mean? You guys, pretty sure everybody in this room gets 3 meals a day. I didn't get 3 meals a day. It was top ramen and macaroni and cheese every day, over and over and over and over again. And that's just what we ate, that's what we did. And so all of a sudden he says, no, are you ready? And we end up going to LC State because he says, I'm not ready to go and I don't have the grades or the money to be able to go to D1 school. And so we go there, I get to pro ball, get drafted by New York Mets, win a national championship. And when I get to pro ball and I get there, something came over me to the point of like, this is where I think I'm supposed to be, but there's gotta be more to life than this. Like, I just felt like this over sense of just like, I'm a professional athlete, I play for the New York Mets, but there's gotta be something more. And so I played really well, finished top 10 league in hitting my first year, get moved up a level, do some things. At off season, I'm just working, grinding out, doing what I gotta do when someone invites me to a church. Go to a church, okay, and all of a sudden my version of church, guys, was dorky white people with a bow tie, okay? Because when you grow up where I grew up, in more of a minority community, you have this vision, and I never went to it, of just what it was, and it was totally just disregarding of what actually I thought it was. And I go into this church, there's professional athletes, I mean, we got Seahawks there, the Sonics were still there at the time, Mariners were there, there's black, there's white, there's Mexican, there's Asian, everything, and I was just blown away, like, this is church, what is this? So I go into there and I'm like, wow, and then all of a sudden God starts putting on my heart, like, you need to stop playing baseball and do what Coach Jay did for you and go help other kids. And I'm like, wait a second, like, I don't understand what this means, and I'm trying to understand how to communicate with God, what to say, what not to do, all these different things. And so I go into pro ball that next spring training, have plans to make millions of dollars and go to the big leagues and do all these different things, and all of a sudden I can't get this off my heart. I just can't get this off my heart what Coach Jay did for me and all these different things. So we're playing the Marlins, I hit a double, call time, walk off the field, say I want to retire. Okay, and I don't know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or anything. And Bobby Valentine was the manager at the time, and he actually sat down and talked to me. He's like, we have plans for you, you want to be successful, all these different things. And I just walked away from it. And flew back from Port St. Lucie, Florida, all the way back up to Seattle, Washington, a little mobile home with no money or no nothing, and say, I have to start a baseball softball academy and try to build men and women of character that want to be successful in life in baseball. I have no idea how to teach baseball. I have no idea how to do anything. If you throw 95 on my hands, I can get inside. I feel pretty confident about that. But to teach a 10-year-old how to hit a ball off a tee, I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing, okay? And the reality is, I just wanted to make sure I was coaching the heart to help kids be successful in life. And he told his friends, and I got 20 kids, 30 kids, 40 kids. God opens up door for a new facility. He's still playing pro ball. All of a sudden I say, hey coach, man, I didn't call coach at the time, I said, Troy, you know, I think I got a good thing going. I know you got some arm injuries. I don't know how much longer you're playing. You want to come help me? And it's blossomed into this purposeful, driven life to help you guys be successful. We're not getting paid to be here, okay? We're taking time away to be able to have you guys to listen, to understand, take away what we're telling you today, to wake up every day to make a difference in somebody else's life, and not wake up every day in the mirror and say, it's all about me. Because if we're all honest, we think about me more than anybody else. okay? And nobody here is Mr. Tough Guy that's got it all figured out, okay? There's always somebody bigger, faster, and stronger, okay? I scouted professionally for 10 years, and I've seen a lot of athletes, and a lot of guys that thought they were a man. And you are one car accident away, one arm injury away, just one little thing away from you never playing this game again, okay? And so you have an opportunity to wake up each and every day to say, what kind of a teammate am I gonna be? What kind of a friend am I gonna be? You know, one of the guys in our Bible study scouted for the New York Yankees for 20 years. And he looked at Derek Jeter, Barry Larkin, these players that are Hall of Fame players, and he said when he'd go watch them, this kind of transitioned into our talk a little bit, he would watch when they strike out. Because he wanted to see what their body language is when they struck out from home plate back into the dugouts. How did he put his helmet away? How did he take off his batting gloves? Did he go sit on the bench and say, woe me? Or did he find a way to say, how am I gonna be a good teammate? How am I gonna be a good friend? And how am I gonna impact this game? Okay, because you can find out a lot about who you are as a man, as a young man, if how you respond and how you act when you strike out and you have a bad game. And one story before I let Coach Troy talk a little bit again. Michael Sukalis, he's a junior up in our program up in Seattle. I have a group that has been with us for a while, okay? Out of the 9 Oregon State commits for their junior class, 6 of them are Rijo kids up in Washington, okay? Pretty good class. So I call Coach Pat, because we're friends for years, we have a lot of Rijo kids go to Oregon State. I said, hey man, I got this group in 8th and 9th grade that are really good, you need to come watch them. So he comes and watch us, summer, first game, Pat comes out and watch, he goes 4 for 4, hits a bomb, he's a catcher, he's 6'2", 190, runs a 6'8", 60, throws 90 in the bump, and he doesn't even practice baseball year round. He's a football, basketball, and baseball player, he's a multi-sport guy. Just a freak, God's given him some crazy ability. So Pat watches him 6 times that summer, he watches him 8 times the next summer. So he watches Michael 14 times. This guy's getting offers from every school in the country, Vanderbilt, to wherever he wants to go, he can go. I says, Pat, man, you better hurry up, because either he had antsy, and they want to go to Oregon State, but like, you haven't given him anything. And I'm having text conversations, communication all the time. So he gets done playing for us that freshman year, summer, getting ready to go into a sophomore fall. He goes to a Pac Northwest games. Pac Northwest games are some of the best events, 40 scouts, Division I schools from all over the country there. He goes to a game and I'm watching some of our players play. He goes 0 for 4 and strikes out 4 times. And not against a good guy, he just doesn't do very good. But when you play for Rijo Athletics, when you strike out, you're a good teammate and you're a good friend. And if you're not consistently learning how to do that, then you don't play for us, okay? And so he goes back to the dugout, takes off his gear, gets up to the handrail, says, let's go. In between innings, third out, he runs to home. He doesn't walk, he doesn't jog, he runs to home. In between innings, he's like framing. He's working on his footwork. He's not just kind of going through the motions. He does this 4 times. His dad jokes with me, he's like, he couldn't even play at Central Washington, let alone Oregon State. Game's over. I'm up top, it kind of ramps up to where we're at, I'm with Pat. Pat walks over as Michael's walking out of the dugout and he says, I would like to make you an Oregon State University Beaver, okay? I just wanted to see how you responded when you weren't very good. That's what he wanted to see. Because he said, guess what? If you play in the Pac-12 someday, you're not gonna be very good all the time. This ain't high school baseball. Like, you can be the best of the best, and you have a weekend series, you go for 16, strike out 10 times, and you're still could be a dude. But are you gonna be a good teammate? Are you gonna be a good friend? Are you gonna be a good guy when you're not doing very well? That's a big deal. Think about that. He gets 14 games. He might have hit 700 and hit 10 bombs in those 14 games Pat watched. But he had to see how he responded when he failed, when he didn't do very well, to actually make him a scholarship to one of the #1 programs in the country year in and year out. You guys follow me a little bit? So who are you as a man when things are tough? Who are you as a young man when coach challenges you a little bit? Because you find out a lot about who you are. Because there's 2 types of people in baseball today, and really in life. We've worked with thousands of kids. Coach tells you to do something, is your first response, but or is your first response, yes coach, I gotta find a way to get better? 2 types of people, 2 types of players. Ones that make excuses and ones that make adjustments. Pretty simple, fellas. Are you an excuse maker or are you gonna make an adjustment? Because if you're hitting the 4 hole and the first 3 guys struck out on a pitch this far to the plate, and then you strike out a pitch this far to the plate, and say, oh, that umpire sucks. Or you could have made an adjustment and got 6 inches closer to the plate and not made the same mistakes that your players did before you. That's the difference in making an adjustment. If you go to the plate because it's a little soggy day in Arizona and make an excuse because your feet aren't wet, well, guess what? All 18 guys gotta use the same batting box. So you constantly are in your own brain saying, who am I as a man? Do I make adjustments or do I make excuses? And I would tell you, most of us, make excuses for why we're not successful. Very few kids today are always constantly making adjustments to get better. Okay? And if you guys are a bunch of adjustment makers as a team, you guys are gonna do really well, both on and off the field. Think about the difference you guys can make in this school. And say everybody that plays for this high school is on this baseball program is now gonna open up the door for teachers and women for the right reason. Because you respect women, you respect teachers. What if every single time you guys roll over to 6 hole for the 3rd time, it's a dead sprint through the line? What if every single time you show up to practice, you're getting work done because you got some leaders that want to get stuff accomplished, so coach has a full 2 hours to work with you, so he doesn't have to talk to you for 20 minutes, why aren't you warming up properly? You guys have an opportunity to make adjustments consistently. Just a few of you need to step up your game and say, let's make a difference this year. Let's make a difference on this campus. Let's make a difference in our team. For you seniors, what kind of legacy are you leaving? I'm too cool for school and coach isn't looking? 'Cause I don't know if anybody here is a 1st round pick. Maybe there is, I don't know. But like, who do you want to be remembered as? For me personally, before my feet hit the ground every day, pray for my wife, my kids, and then when I go to sleep at night, that I made a difference to someone's life because they came across me, not just heard about Jose. This isn't about me, okay? And so when we leave here today, some of you need to step up and stop making excuses. Some of you need to step up and be a better leader and make a difference. Like, who do you want to be remembered by in this school for the future generation to come? Because you only get this time once. You only get to play high school baseball once, okay? And last thing I'll say is throw your ego and your toughness and all the coolness out the window when you step on that field. Have some swag. You gotta be confident. When I played, I literally thought nobody could get me out. When I stepped in that batter's box, I literally thought nobody could get me out. Like, I believed that much in who I was. Like, I just believed that I was better than every pitcher that I ever faced. Like, that was my mindset, okay? I had to train my mind, my body, my soul to be able to believe like that, okay? But if you got a bunch of people around you that are humble enough to say, we gotta work harder and get better, and you're not okay with a 3-for-4 day, or you're not okay with a 4-for-4 day because you got jammed on a little one, and you're consistently making adjustments to get better, like, how much better are you guys gonna be as a group? How much better is the future generation gonna be as a group? So you gotta make sure you say, I'm gonna kick that to the side, and I'm gonna be a real man of character. Because let me tell you this, there's millions of kids that are so cool that'll never be really successful in life in baseball. But if you're willing, because a true man of character isn't worried about being too cool. You can still have swag, be confident, but you gotta ask yourself who you are. Are you willing to put some of that aside? Because if you are, not only are you gonna see your game grow, not only are you gonna see your opportunities grow, you're gonna see your purpose grow. And if you have those 3 things going for you, you become a better baseball player, you become a better friend, you become a better son, a brother. All these things get better in your life when you don't wake up every day and think about what I can get out of it, okay? And so, just understand, I'm not here to yell at you, preach at you, do anything. I have a little background, a little understanding of what it takes to be good at baseball and life, okay? Just know that we're telling you this because we care. Coach is bringing us in here because he cares about you. Most coaches won't do this. They don't want 2 strange guys that tweet some good stuff coming in and try to influence their room, right? He actually cares deeply enough about you to bring a couple guys in, take some time to hear some real talk, to hear some influence, okay? And the first thing he told us when he came in here is, I got a great group of kids. Great group of kids. They work hard. They want to get better. It's good to hear a different voice. So he believes in you. You got a coach back there, a coaching staff that believes in you. They want you to be successful. They want you to be pretty good. But at the end of the day, as coaches, we write up the lineup. You guys are old enough to be motivated by yourself. We shouldn't have to give you a motivational talk, right? You just got to look in the mirror and say, what adjustments I got to make so we got to get better today? Okay? Sound good? That's too harsh on you? You good? All right, we're good. All right.
That was really good English.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just not so good, but that was really good. So we try to give you his testimony to kind of break the ice a little bit, get you guys to kind of get involved and understand kind of what the purpose of this is. The purpose of this is to get you guys on the same page to go accomplish whatever it is you guys want to accomplish. Okay. Quick little history of Troy's testimony. I was Vanilla Ice, the little white guy with pants. I was a fake gangster that would talk about murdering people and then run away and stuff. But anyway, that was just, he was the real gangster.
He really did think he was Vanilla Ice. Like really. It was sad.
You guys don't even know who Vanilla Ice
That's
is.
what I was gonna say. I don't think
Yeah.
I know who that is.
They know.
Dayton, it's
Google
not
it.
right there.
Yes, true.
Okay, this is where you guys gotta start getting involved, so everybody get ready to get involved, okay? So we're gonna talk about culture, team culture, okay? When we say culture, what do you guys think about? When you hear the word culture, where you guys are at right now, what do you guys think about? Start blurting it out. What?
Art.
Art? Atmosphere. What else? Team bonding, good one.
Working together.
Working together, what else? Winning, what else?
Expectation.
Expectations.
You got an A in
Started
class
class
right there.
What else? Come on, man, culture. He said the word legacy. What do you guys want to leave, right? What about history? The history before you. There might be some culture involved in that. Have you guys been in a situation where you had a whole horrible culture? I mean, everybody plays club ball down here too, right? So it's like, you ever been on a team where you're like, this sucks, I don't like baseball? Yeah, raise your hand because everybody has, right? Hopefully it's never here, right? But we've all been there, right? Whose fault is that when you guys are in an environment where the culture sucks? It's usually your own, right? Sometimes it's the coach, but just because you have a crazy coach or a coach that is a moron or whatever, doesn't mean you guys can't still create a culture that you want to be a part of, right? What else? Culture stuff. Couple more.
Attitude.
Attitude's a good one. Good job. Respect. A good one. One more.
Work ethic.
Accountability, work ethic. They're all good. Okay. Now those are all awesome, right? Everybody's like, culture, yeah, this is what it is. Work ethic, blah, blah, blah. Now the question is how do we accomplish that? As a staff, as a group, as a community. So we talk about having work ethic and being respectful and all this stuff, but how does that get accomplished? You want me to give you the answer? You're supposed to give me the answer. Leadership, that's a good one. Another word for me is sacrifice, right? It's another word. Any other words that come to mind? Commitment's a good one. Good job, good English. It comes down to you guys. You got it? So whatever your culture is, whatever you guys want to be a part of, however you want to do it, it comes down to you guys and your guys' effort on how you want to get it done. You got it? Because what usually happens is someone will say, work ethic, and everyone's in the group going, I've seen that guy. There's nothing work ethic about that guy. Attitude. He throws his helmet every time he drops an F-bomb, every time he strikes out. Not you, because you have good flow. Right? You guys have to lead by example. You have to do it. You have to do what you say. You have to make an example by what you do. You understand that? I can't say, Jose, you need to hustle through the bag, you moron, stop it, and then I pop up and jog to first base. Right? You have to lead by example. If the culture that you guys want to create is something that you guys want to leave a legacy with and be a part of that's good and fun, and you don't go, I played for a crappy organization, then it comes down to you guys and your guys' effort through this whole process. Right? You guys have to do it together as a group. One of the biggest things that I learned playing with this guy and at Lewis Clark State, we hated the coach so much that we bonded together in such a way that it was basically life. It was life forever. I still talk to people that we played ball with at the time because it was such a crazy environment. We bonded together. So it's not even about what they do. It's about you guys. You guys have to create a culture. You guys have to leave a legacy. You guys have to do the work. You guys have to put in the effort. You guys have to say you're going to hustle and do it every time. You guys have to warm up a specific way every time. You guys have to have a good attitude every time. You guys have to compete hard every time. You guys have to hold each other accountable every time. Everybody has to be on the same page because one bad apple can ruin the whole thing. Right? You ever played on a team where there's just that one guy on the team where it's just like, dude, if this guy was just off the team, I'd like this a lot more. Hopefully you're not that guy. Yeah? You guys are like that. So you guys have to create this. And you guys have to make an example of how to get that done. Okay, and it's not an easy thing, but it comes down to being together, having the same purpose and the same goals, and going to get it. It doesn't take this guy to have to map out a plan for you guys on what to do. And it really comes down to one basic thing. It's being a great teammate like he talked about. Right? Basically what it comes down to. Are you a great teammate or are you not a great teammate? It's not even about being a great teammate just on the field, but off the field too as well. You got a dude jacking himself up, doing stupid stuff off the field, smoking weed, going to get hammered on the weekends. A good culture would take that guy and say, hey man, you need to stop doing that. Instead of what I would do if I was your age, hey, bring me along. Right? Hey, I want to go do it too, because I want to be cool. You guys have to understand, like, you guys have an influence over this whole school. Just by being an athlete alone, people look up to you guys. Right? I'm ugly. I got a hot wife because I played baseball. Right? Like, you guys have to understand, like, your influence is up here. And are you going to go and do what everybody else does? Or are you going to make an example of how to live life and how to have those characteristics that everybody would like to and be an example? Right? So you guys have to understand, like, it's a purpose that you guys have to live. And it comes down to being a great teammate. And I'll tell you basically what that means. When I say being a great teammate, what comes to mind? What are things that you do to be a great teammate? That's where you communicate. Respect your other teammates. Lead by example.
What does that, hang on, what does that, go off of that? What else does that mean? Lead by example by doing what?
I'm gonna get back to yours too.
By just hustling every time and not like throwing your stuff everywhere. Just being a good person.
Good. What about respect? That's a good one, right? I can disagree with something he does, but I'm always gonna respect him because he's my best friend and I have to, right? But if we're acting out, doing something stupid, we have accountability too, where it's like, or I don't even have to say anything sometimes, it'll just be like, the respect factor is an important thing, but that doesn't mean you sacrifice the respect to not hold them accountable at the same time. So I think respect and accountability go together, right? You gotta hold each other accountable, but also respect everyone. Everybody's here from different backgrounds and different this and different that. You gotta respect people, but if the whole culture is the same, everybody's gotta get on the same page. Respect is a good one too. What else? Being a great teammate. What else?
Positive.
Being positive, right? What else? Let's go to like encouragement. Is that a good one too?
Leadership.
Leadership.
You have to trust your team.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, right?
Like-
How about your role, or
Yeah.
is that what you're trying to say? Go ahead.
Well, like, if, let's say, like, you get taken out, right, and because you're not doing so good, and another guy goes in, you can't just be like, have a bad attitude of when you got taken out. You gotta trust that guy's gonna do your job, and he's gonna benefit the team, and he's gonna help you, and that it's like the best decision for you.
Is that an easy thing to do?
No.
I never got taken out, so I don't know how that feels. I'm just kidding. They got taken out. That's 100% though. That's a hard thing to do, right? You get taken out. Maybe you're not getting taken out. Maybe you're not even playing that day, right? You look at the lineup and you're like, "Coach sucks. Today's not putting the best guy in the lineup." You have two options: make an adjustment or make an excuse. Blah 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 blah, or make an adjustment. Be a good teammate. Pick each other up, right? Quick story on that specific topic. In high school, I was a very average baseball player. Very average. Didn't play varsity till my junior year, where I didn't even play. My junior year, I sat the bench in front of a senior that played in front of me, and I was pissed off, angry. I was like, I'm better than him, but I just had a horrible attitude about it. Fast forward 1 year, I was like All-State California. I got really good like in a year for some reason. I don't know, God just said, be good at baseball all of a sudden. I was. My attitude that junior year was horrible. Totally ruined the whole team chemistry, totally. I would sit on the bench, he'd get a base hit, I wouldn't even high-five him. I would just sit there like a little punk with my mullet hanging out of my hat. Like, this sucks, I hate baseball, I don't wanna be here, this guy sucks. It was this horrible attitude to have, okay? And I learned being at Lewis Clark State, no matter what the scenario is, no matter what it is, if it's part of the culture, if it's part of the chemistry, if it's part of the team, you better get your butt off the bench and be a good teammate no matter what. Because like he said before, like once you get to the higher levels and the levels above where you're at right now, it's even worse. You got dudes everywhere. I went to a D3 school, Ottawa University. They had 50 guys on the field. 50 at a D3. 50. lined up for the national anthem. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's 50. It's a D3 school, right? So you got to compete hard. You got to keep doing your thing. And most of those guys get to that level because they are a good teammate. Don't be me. Don't be that guy that just always wants to ruin it for everybody else just because I'm not playing. And I think a lot of it, maybe this is a kind of a random tangent, but a lot of it is the culture that's given to you guys and fed to you guys at a young age. It's about exposure, and it's about showcase, and it's about, college. Enjoy the now, dudes. I'm telling you right now. Back when we played, it wasn't long ago, but it wasn't that far ago. We didn't have any showcases or exposure tournaments or club ball. You were either good enough or you weren't. And if you weren't good enough, you worked hard to try to get better. And you didn't have Troy Silva on Twitter telling you how to hit and all this stuff. You figured it out yourself. You watch big leaguers, you watch baseball, you go hit. You figure it out. And then by the time that level came, you were either good enough or you weren't. Right? Now, at 10 years old, you got 10-year-olds posting on Instagram their grad year and where they're gonna go, right? And it's like, it's all about yourselves. It's okay, like we talked about, to have those goals. Everybody here probably wants to play at a high level, right? Yes? Not that high school's not a high level, a higher level. But don't focus on that to the point where you become a bad teammate, right? Do not focus on it to the point where you get jealous of another teammate, right? So I'm not gonna say it, but some of you guys in here are probably committed somewhere, right? You look at that person and go, ASU, can't wait, no better. Or you have genuine, joy for that person. Like, I'm proud of you, man, that's awesome, good job. Encourage them, I'm proud of you. If you're that guy that's going to ASU, do you look at everyone else and go, ASU, whatever. You guys all suck, I'm going to ASU. Are you encouraging those people too as well, right? It's the two different attitudes to have. One, you're a good teammate, the other, you're a horrible teammate.
I want to touch off of that. Perspective is a big deal. How you look at your lens, what goggles you look through, a perspective. Okay, think about that word real quick. Okay, if you look at it as a perspective of that kid that you're jealous of, that you know you're better of, that's signed in a D1 or verbal or whatever, do you have the perspective of hating on that kid, or what can I learn? What was the thing that got that coach? What was the little thing that he did, or what was the one thing that he did, or multiple things that he did I can learn from? You guys that are sophomores, juniors here, and there's a senior here that's committed, what can you look at during practice that he does that you can take from versus being jealous about? When you suck at baseball someday, what kind of perspective do you have? Like, I suck at baseball, this isn't fun, or this is a great opportunity because 100 guys tried out and I'm on the team. So I have an opportunity to get better. My wife and I adopted a special needs baby, chapter 8 in my book. Okay, she was born with drugs in her system, cleft lip and palate, and we had to feed her through a tube. Okay? When we went to go to adopt, we said, we don't want any special needs baby, we don't care if it's boy, girl, black, white, Asian, Mexican, we don't care. We just didn't care, okay? But then also we get the call and say, oh yeah, beautiful little girl, their family chose you, and she's a quarter black, quarter Mexican, 50% Cambodian. Oh, by the way, she was born with drugs in her system, left with a pout, and you gotta feed her through a tube. My wife and I are like, whoa, that's a little too much. Well, God put on our heart within minutes, that's our daughter, okay? So, went to the hospital, 2 days later, she's in our house, okay? And what that girl, she's 12 now, almost 13 this May, she's about this big. She's the sweetest little thing on planet Earth. She's taught me a big deal about perspective as a coach, when I win, when I lose. My 15-year-old son, he's a freshman. People tell me he's kind of a for sure D1 guy on the mound. Like, if he has a bad day or he does different things, I'm kind of like, whatever. Like, how do you learn? How do you grow from that? How many guys have went 4 for 4, got a game-winning hit, and were on post on social media, went home and worked on the cage that day to get better? It's usually when you don't do very good, is when you get in the cage and work hard to get better. But the perspective of how you view practice, game, opportunity to start as a sub and make an impact in a game, versus why am I not playing? Perspective is so much, gentlemen, in baseball. Like, what perspective, what lenses are you looking through? I didn't mean to get so deep with you guys real quick, but man, my daughter Nevaeh has taught me so much. Because as a coach, I'm like a win guy. Like, I like to win. I don't like losing. When my parents say, Jose, I don't know if we're up by 10 or down by 10 when we're coaching, because you're just chill. Because I got perspective. It's youth baseball. It's like, it's not gonna make a difference if I win a championship or not, or what people are talking about when I'm at my funeral, when they're at my funeral someday. It's like, how did I care about them? How did I coach their heart? How did I help them? How did I mentor them? Not that I got a little trophy with a gold ring with fake diamonds on it. You know what I'm saying? Some of you, how many of you guys have those, by the way? Okay? We won a national championship, I won a Pro Bowl championship, and those little USSSA rings that you guys got are 10 are bigger than both of mine, okay? I don't get it. But my point is like, start thinking about perspective, about the opportunity that you have. Because if you look through the right lenses, it'll motivate you to be better when you're a sub. It'll motivate you when you have a tough day. It'll motivate you when you should think you should be on varsity over a senior versus a junior. Because you could be like this guy. One other story, I'll let Troy talk again. My neighbor across the street from me, Matt Davidson, was first round pick for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Okay, he just signed with Cincinnati, he's got like 4 years in the big leagues. One of the most humble, nicest guy, you would never think he's a big league guy. He's just very real. You know how he literally was a PO as a junior in his high school in California. Didn't even hit, didn't do anything. Well, they had a fall game, okay? He wants to be a professional motocross driver. That's what, like, he wants to be motocross and do all these different things. Baseball's not even on his radar. Fall game comes in, they're short players. He says, hey, Matt, coach asks him to hit. Just pitch hit, just get through the game. He hits a bomb. Coach is like, okay, all right, you know. And all of a sudden, hey, let's have you play next weekend. 18 months later, he's a first-round pick for the Diamondbacks. So you never know when you suck as a junior. I can't experience that because I never sucked. I started as a freshman all the way through varsity, never hit below 3. Yeah, right. My point is like you just don't know. You just don't know when you're going to develop and how you're going to develop. But when you get your opportunity, are you ready? And that's a big deal in high school. Because some of you are just saying, well, I just need that opportunity. Because I've been grinding, I've been working, I've been showing up early, staying late. I've been getting my schoolwork done first rather than look at social media for half hour. I've been getting my long toss in, I've been getting the weight room. I'm doing all these things so when the game comes, the opportunity comes, you're ready. Okay, and so just understand like the perspective, the lens, the opportunity is really how you guys choose to view this thing. Because if you view it from the right lens, good things are gonna take place through it. Because you will, baseball's funny. You will get that opportunity. If you're putting in the work, an opportunity will happen. Someone's gonna get injured, someone's not gonna make grades, something's gonna happen. Once you get that opportunity, you can be a Matt Davidson, being on JV as a junior, being a PO, and next thing you know, you're a first round pick 18 months later. I mean, how many of you guys would like that opportunity? Yes? One more story and I'll shut up.
You got a lot of stories.
We got a lot of stories. Jason Ellison played the big leagues for 7.5, 8 years, went to LC State where we went. He was an A-ball, good player, couldn't hit really, really well. First couple years in minor league ball, first 3 years, I think his batting average was like 220. Okay, off season he worked in a warehouse, did lessons, did all these things, grind out hard work, has cannon for an arm, run good. Okay, he's in high A in California with the Giants organization. They get a bunch of injuries in AA and AAA and stuff like that. It's far away. It's like a Thursday night. They say, hey, the AAA manager says, hey, just give me a guy that's close, fill in for the weekend. Jason goes from high A hitting 120 or 220, okay, goes to AAA with the Giants organization, same organization, has a phenomenal weekend, gets like 10 or 12 hits, hits a bomb, game-winning hit. Manager really likes this guy's energy because I want to keep him around for a little bit. Finishes hitting over 300 at AAA, gets a big league invite, okay, the next year, plays outfield with Barry Bonds, okay, and plays 7 years in the big leagues. His work ethic, his mindset and everything at high when he was 220 paid off when he got that one opportunity when people got hurt at AAA. Okay, so again, I'm storing you to death, but like there's a couple good stories. I'm old enough now, being 45 years old, like there's some background to baseball, some opportunities if you put in the work on the backside and have the right perspective. Good English? Okay.
And if you guys don't get an opportunity, then you'll be able to tell good stories playing slow pitch when you get older, so don't worry about it. Got it? All right, some of you guys have probably seen this, maybe on social media or not, but I like to do it just kind of in, and then we'll basically get into some question and answers, okay? I'm gonna give you guys a scenario, and what I want you to start thinking about in your brain is be a great teammate. You got it? No matter what the scenario is, you're gonna think about being a great teammate, okay? So you're actually gonna say this out loud. You got it? First scenario, Jose's batting leadoff. I think I'm a better leadoff hitter than this jack that can't hit nothing. What do? You gotta say it. What do? Do you really mean that? Like you think you're the leadoff hitter, but this dude gets put in the leadoff hitter and he sucks at baseball. What are you gonna do? This dude actually is playing your position too. Now he's the starting shortstop. Now you think you're the leadoff hitter, and you think you're the shortstop, but he's batting in the leadoff and playing shortstop, which pushed you into left field. What are you gonna do? Are you sure about that? Because you're a better shortstop than he is. Yes? You're positive. You're 0 for 6 with 3 lineouts and 3 strikeouts. You go back to the dugout. What do? You're a pitcher. You think you're a starter, but coach has you relief pitching, and you got to hang out half the game and not do anything besides check foul balls. What do? Are you sure about that? You're a starter. Yes? You sure? You want to be a great teammate? You look at the lineup, and your name's not in the lineup. What do? Are you sure? You're not playing. You're a junior. Got a senior starting in front of you that you think you're better than. What do? Are you sure? It's easy to say, but are you really going to do this? That's the problem. You make an error to lose the game, okay? And it's going to get posted all over social media that you made an error to lose the game. You're the teammates of the teammate that made an error. What do? Are you sure about that? He lost the game for you. Yes? I remember being pissed off at people that lost the game for me because I wanted to compete. You guys understand that? Yes? You got a guy throwing 75 miles an hour, he throws you a belt-high fastball, and you pop up to the shortstop. What do? No, you quit baseball and go play soccer. You guys understand the point? Have the attitude of being a great teammate in all scenarios, and I promise you, the culture will change, your attitude will change, everybody will get along better, no matter what. It sucks to not play sometimes. It sucks to hit in a spot where you think you should be hitting in a different spot. I batted in the 9-hole my freshman year in college. Never batted out of the 3-4 hole ever. When I first got there, I looked at the lineup and I literally laughed out loud. I'm in the 9-hole, that's so funny. Coach doesn't know me. Coach doesn't know me. Right? My coach came up to me and he goes, you know what? I'm putting you in the 9-hole. I probably put you up higher, but you smash fastballs, okay? And I want you to lead the country in home runs this year from the 9-hole. And I looked at him like, you know what? I like that attitude because I love fastballs. You throw me fastballs going somewhere. So my attitude at first was like, I'm not a 9-hole hitter, to let's smash some fastballs. And it totally changed my attitude behind it. And I did lead the country that year in home runs in the 9-hole. I had like 10 in the 9-hole at a junior college. It was awesome. So your attitude can be, it sucks, or make the best of it. It's your guys' attitude, right? Got it? Anyone to add? All right. You want anything to add before I kind of let them ask some questions?
No, I want to get the Q&A. I got a scenario I want to.
Yes, go ahead.
Some guys, after they screw something up, they go into the dugout, say a strikeout, big strikeout. Very upset, right? And some guys handle it differently. What can you do as a teammate? What can you say, or how should you act towards that guy? Some guys want to be left alone. Some guys like the love. How do you navigate that whole thing?
Well, first of all, let me make one thing clear. It's completely okay to be pissed off and angry when you suck. It's okay. Like your emotion, that means you're an emotional, you care, right? But I think it gets to a level sometimes where you want to keep going to a different level to show everyone that you care. If you guys have a culture that everyone knows that you care and you compete and you get out, you got to have an attitude of getting over it really quick. We have a 3-second rule. You have 3 seconds to be angry, and then you get the focus on being a great teammate, right? But you guys are bros, right? Like, when he struck out, I'd probably go away, because I know he's Mr. T's little brother that probably wants to punch something and shoot me or something. You know what I mean? Then there's the other guy that needs a little hug, like, bro, you're okay. Pick it up. You got to learn, like, some kids need to be, like, patted on the butt, and some kids need to be, like, pushed in the back, like, let's go. And you guys are bros. You guys should be able to understand that. And when you are the one getting pushed, you can't take offense to it. You got to understand. If the culture is what it is, then you got to understand it's for the benefit of everybody. It's for the betterment of the team, right? So I was a guy. Well, I never struck out once. I was like chill, like whatever. I struck out. I got like umpire stuff. You know what I mean? That's how I was. Like, and then I played with some guys over the years. They'd take the catcher's protector, put it on the wall, and just smash it for like 10 minutes. I'm like, dude, you're a moron. But like, you have to understand, like, we have that 3-second rule. But as you guys are growing together, you know when you can push somebody and when you need to pat somebody, right? And I don't have a perfect like scenario for it, but the reality of it is once you get into your brain, like you're gonna compete. If you're focused on being a good teammate, the best way to be a good teammate after you suck is encourage somebody else. Get the focus off yourself. That's why we say be a great teammate. When you say that, the focus gets off you and it gets put on somebody else. Pick me up, let's go. At college, we competed pretty hard. We got out or whatever, let's go, pick us up. Everyone's up. We never sat, ever. That was it. Got it? The worst thing you can do is go put your helmet down in the dugout, tail between the legs, grab your Gatorade, and just kind of pow like I suck at baseball. It's the worst thing you can do. Creates a soft mindset. So the attitude is like toughness. Like it's okay to compete and be angry. You just got to learn how to have the emotional control piece behind it.
In addition to that, I would just say they need to learn to communicate with themselves. Hey, when I respond like this is kind of what would help me. You know what I mean? So I think you guys communicate with each other of what works. You know what I mean? Because I did not want to be encouraged, like at all. Like don't tell me it's gonna be okay. Because I just struck out off a guy throwing 70 poo, and I should have hit 400 feet. Like that was my mind. Like I didn't want to be encouraged. Some of you guys might want that, right? And so I think it's important for you guys to do that yourself and understand what teammate needs encouragement, what needs tough. It's like me having 6 kids. Like I can't treat my 15-year-old son that's probably gonna play college baseball and the babe that we adopted the same academically because they're different people, right? They're built different, they were born different, they're created different. So understanding every person has different expectations of different things. You gotta just know how you communicate with them.
Anything else? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go on and on. Can you talk to the boys a little bit about the importance of being a servant leader?
Well, a servant leader is putting people, their interests ahead of yours. Their interests ahead of yours. So meaning, what they can get accomplished in that game of practice is more important than what you do. It's not a big, like, philosophy type thing. Do you show up to practice as a leader and lead by example? And think about if you're a senior and you're committed or you've been on varsity for 3 years, are you warming up in such a way that others want to follow? Are you? Okay? I mean, I can use scripture with that. Mark 10:45 says, "For God, the Son of Man didn't even come to be served, but to serve and give his life for others." So like, the one who created each one of you said, go serve others, don't look at your own important self. Okay, so I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what you're doing, see, I am learning English.
That was better than
What you're doing, is it being led, do others want to follow? You know what I mean? Put people more important than yourself.
That's hard.
It is
Yeah,
hard.
It's not an easy thing to do. I wake up every day and try to figure out a way to not make it about myself. It's hard, right? We're all selfish people. But if you do have that attitude of how can I, basically the whole point of this whole culture thing is how can I influence somebody else, right? That's basically what it comes down to. How can I influence somebody else? Because no matter what, and I speak to all of our coaches about this too, is you're either gonna be a good influence or a bad influence to the people you're around, right? Basically what it comes down to. If you're the guy that's over here, and you're smoking weed, and you're drinking, and you're cussing, and you're sleeping around, and you're doing all this stuff, you're being a bad influence, right? Yes? It's not like it's rocket science, you know what's right and what's wrong, okay? But if you're over here, you're trying to make good decisions, you're getting your study work done, you're sacrificing partying or whatever to go get your work done, you're getting good grades, you're making good decisions off the field, you're treating women with respect, you're respecting your parents, you're respecting your coaches, now you're making an impact and an influence on other people's life, which in turn does what? Changes the whole culture with what goes on around you. You guys have no idea the impact you can make if you just make better decisions. You have no idea. The one thing I regret most in high school is trying to be the cool guy and going out to be this partier guy. I thought it was cool to go to parties. When we have teams, one of the things you commit to is you never go to a party. You know why? Nothing good ever comes from a party, ever. You go do something you don't want to do, probably a lot. You go basically at night, nothing good ever happens at night, right? You gonna go feed the homeless at night with your friends, drinking a beer? You're gonna not drink and drive, you're not gonna sleep around, let's get real, right? Like when you're doing this stuff, you're sacrificing your own self and your influence is gone. Got it? I'm not saying you can't ever go out and do fun things and stuff like that, but understand the impact and influence you guys could have for the people around you. One person could make a huge impact. Now, just a quick story on top of that, since this is story time. I had a kid in our program, we used to challenge our kids every fall. Go out and make a friend every fall. Somebody that needs to be a friend. You guys are probably thinking of somebody on this campus right now that just is outcasted, maybe a little weird, mentally retarded, whatever you want to call it, right? That they just kind of get left out, right? This kid went and made a friend with this kid that was outcasted, right? He told him that I was going to go kill myself tonight, but you came and basically befriended me, and he never did that. They They became best friends, they hung out. He never did that. Just by doing something simple like, hey man, what's your name? How's it going? Like, it's that impactful, right? You have no idea what other people are dealing with. Some of you guys are dealing with stuff right now, and you might need somebody else in this room to just say, hey, what's going on with life? And be real about it, right? Because life is a struggle. The stuff you guys are pulled by right now is unbelievable, right? So you guys gotta be together for one another and take pride in having that impact and that influence of people. Got it? More questions?
Open it up.
Okay, got a couple more minutes. Any questions? I wrote a book on hitting. He taught him everything he knows about hitting. So when he couldn't teach that 10-year-old, I taught him how to do it. You guys have any questions on hitting, exposure, college stuff, anything? Now's your chance. Don't be afraid, go ahead. Come on. Yeah.
What's your favorite hitting tool that you use at your facility?
My favorite hitting tool is velocity. We hit off a lot of machines. And the reason why we do that is because in college, we had 6 machines lined up at LC State. Right-handed fastball, left-handed fastball, right-handed slider, left-handed slider, right-handed curveball, left-handed curveball, and you went in every one, every day for 2 hours, and you figured it out. So by the time you got into a game, I've seen that pitch a million times, I know how to hit it. So the velocity stuff that we do, we intentionally do things that's harder than normal. We make our like 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds hit off like 85, 90 miles an hour to get you guys to learn how to compete. If you guys aren't competing in your batting practice, then you ain't getting better. You're just looking better. If all you do is sit there and T-work and, oh, I watch this guy on YouTube and I'm doing this drill and that's all you do is soft toss and T-work, you ain't gonna get better. How do you expect to go and hit a guy that's doing this and this and this if you're never working on competing in your batting practice? So the answer to that is we hit a lot of machine work. If you don't have machines, get some live challenging stuff that's gonna challenge your mental, challenge your eyes, and challenge your ability to speed up everything. Got it? What's your favorite?
My favorite?
The bunting station?
You guys could Google our stats because I had a better batting average and the same amount of home runs for the record.
Get 20 drag bunts a year.
He can find all he wants. But, you know, it was better. My way up. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, we're thick and thin there. You know what I mean? I see kids that consistently work on a tee, that have a nice swing, but they can never adjust. You know, I would bounce off of that, like just pitch recognition stuff. You know, just understanding. How many guys think you'd be a better hitter if you recognize it out of the hand versus halfway to home plate? Obviously, right? So how much stuff are we training our brain to be able to recognize pitches? You know what I mean? We have dots on balls, we have numbers on balls, we have red, we have black, we have blue, we have a whip ball machine with different colors in it. You hit the green one, you take the yellow one. You know what I mean? Just the more variety you can get, we've been teaching hitting 20 years, like I think that helps you. And I think today, too many people want to figure out how their swing looks versus how to compete. I played with a guy in pro ball, Benny Akbayani, first Hawaiian born player to make the big leagues. You watch him try to catch a fly ball in spring training, it was zoos R us. I mean, it was bad. You ever see that Jose Canseco one where it bounces off his head and goes over out for a home run? Like, Benny did that often, okay? But you put a bat in his hand, dropped his hands, and whack, 420 on a line every single time, okay? And so the reality is, like, your hands can drop and lift, but if you find barrel, it's gonna be okay. It's not how your swing looks. Do you get on-field results? So recognizing pitches and understanding, challenging yourself in uncomfortable situations. One thing we try to teach our hitters that we train each and every day is get as uncomfortable as you can consistently. Now, maybe not in the heart of season, in mid-March, mid-April, like during your off season and different things, what you're trying to get accomplished, get a hard machine, a soft machine, a live arm, a little ball, a big ball, a wiffle ball, a tennis ball. The more variety you see, the more you can get to the point where you can really recognize pitches and do things the right way and handle it better. Versus you on a college recruiting trip or you go to a camp of your dreams, a school you want to go to, you've never hit off the machine because dad just lobbed BP into your wheelhouse, and all of a sudden you swing and miss 20 times. That school of your dreams goes out the window because you never challenge yourself that way.
Good one.
One more.
Yes.
What's something that they can take home and do every day? You talk like everyday stuff, transition into being a better player, culture, all that stuff. What's something that they can do every day at home to make them a better hitter?
Okay, this is, as far as hitting advice, this is the best hitting advice you're ever gonna get in your entire life. Got it? You wanna get better, you have to know what you suck at and get better at it, right? What do you suck at? You're a pitcher, aren't you?
No one
What's your
talk to
weakness?
you. No one talk to you.
You don't see the ball very well? So So what does that mean? You swinging balls out of the zone? Or are you the guy that takes fastballs right down the middle every time?
I swing it.
You swing at everything. Okay, so we'll use him as an example, right? If you have a problem with swinging at everything, how are you gonna get better at it? Go off the tee and work on your swing? Is that gonna make you better at not swinging at everything? How about you go get a little bro and get him like 10 feet away and throw wiffle balls as hard as he can at you to make it fun for him, and you just work on taking pitches and swinging and strikes. See how that works? If you don't understand what your true weakness is, and you don't put work in to go get it done, you're never gonna get better. What I see over here in Arizona is kids that have beautiful swings that can't hit. You know why? Because they've been to that big league guy and that coach and this lesson and this and this and this and this, and they never work on what they suck at, right? And they're never challenged, right? So if I was to give you one thing, think about what you really suck at hitting. I did not like blowing away fastballs. If you painted the black 2 times on me, early in the count, it's 0-2 every time on me. That's just who I was. If you left one over the middle of the plate, it was gonna get hit really hard. So I never even knew that growing up because I never even thought about it. I just hit, and if you threw it in my wheelhouse, I smashed it. If not, I sucked at hitting. But if I would have known back in the day, I suck at this pitch, and I'm gonna go work on it regularly versus put the tee right down the middle of the plate every time in my wheelhouse and hit it a line drive and go like I'm awesome, I would've got way better at hitting. That's the problem, is most kids don't have that. Most kids, when I ask what their real weakness is it's something mechanical every time. What's your weakness? Oh, my head pulls up, my hands roll over, my calves, my swing, I don't rotate my hips, I don't get extension. All this stuff that is a byproduct of you not knowing what your weakness is, right? And the funny part is if you actually learn how to get better at pitch recognition and swinging and strikes, your swing's gonna start working the way it's supposed to work, naturally. But if all you do is swing stuff and tee stuff and all this stuff and you don't know what your weakness is, you'll never get better, ever, ever. You guys gotta get challenged in that aspect of it.
On that topic, be willing to be able to be okay with failing to get to where you wanna be. Because most kids that we work with say, I don't like machines, I never liked them, versus saying, I'm gonna find a way to get really good at this so I become the best to my ability where I need to be. Because that's the number one thing I hear in Arizona. We've evaluated hundreds of kids since we've been down here a year and a half. And almost every single Arizona kid is late sauce Larry. Okay, they are late, they are late, they are late. Because they haven't gotten in a position to really compete, and you kind of do your club BP and you do law BP and work on going the other way and different things. And so understanding that piece of it is so important, so important.
And one more thing on top of that, because you want to get better, right? So that's something you can go work on once if you don't know your weakness, come here, I'll tell you. Come see this. The other thing is learning how to compete mentally, like you just talked about, okay? So it's hard to compete when you're kind of by yourself in the garage hitting off the tee, right? So you have to find a way to learn how to compete, okay? What that means is whatever you got to do in your brain to basically do everything you can for your team to get the job done. That might be choking up and putting in a play with 2 strikes. That might be hitting a 3-run jack. I don't know what it is. But if you have a competition mindset where your competition isn't just kind of average, you're going to get better as well, right? What I mean by that can teach you how to compete. Instead of just going like this off the tee and then say all you have is a tee and a net in your garage, how about you like leg kick and work on bat speed, right? How about you work on different parts of the zone? How about you challenge yourself out of the norm? We have drills for kids, like we'll never put the tee on the plate, ever. The tee's either gonna be on the outer corner or low and in or down or up. And you gotta learn how to adjust, because what happens is you do so many reps in one area, when you get to a game, you can't compete, you can't adjust, right? So those are the types of things that if you really wanna get better on your own, you gotta train yourself all the time. Don't be okay. I can't stand net stuff. You know when you guys do tee work and it goes into the net like this? That's a ground ball to short every time. So what you're doing is you're building memory to hit ground ball to short every time, versus get the ball elevated, get it over the shortstop and second baseman's head every time. Got it? So it's that area of competition that you guys gotta step your game up with in order to get yourselves better. Any more hitting questions? Good ones. You guys don't have any hitting questions? You guys got like 500 last year?
Half that.
Who's the best hitter here?
Oh, me for sure.
Me too. You must have played.
Yeah, yeah.
More D1 offers.
Any other questions? Come on, yeah, we got one.
So back on the culture thing, you talked about having that one bad apple for like the whole team or whatever. How can us as players help change that one bad apple that's affecting the entire team?
I think
We played with you that one time, you remember?
I do think it's important that less is more in terms of like not trying to give it, you have to do this and kind of be on them, all that kind of good stuff. You guys as a team, as a culture, just ignore the nonsense, because a lot of times people that are being that bad apple are the most insecure person here. Okay, because when you come across that arrogant and that too cool for school, I've learned over my years that's the most insecure person on the field on the team. So really what they want is the attention, acting like that, because they're so insecure who they are. You'd be shocked how many early D1 commits are like that. Because they got all this attention, everyone gives them all this clout, they think they're cool because they posted their early verbal commit, but really most of those guys are some of the most insecure people they are, because they're always like, am I good enough? And all the spotlights on them and this and that. Sometimes that bad apple becomes that person, okay? Or becomes that person that just is like, dad just died at home. Or you just don't know, like Coach Troy said earlier, you just don't know what's going on at home to be able to do that. So loving on that person, saying, screw you, you gotta change or you're out of here, and just not get caught up in what they say and do that's negative on the team. I think that's important, not only for baseball, but life. Because you can come across somebody any day and you don't know what they dealt with. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing this a long time, and I've been willing to bet half of you in this room got some issues at home some way, somehow. With a brother, with a sister, with a dad that's traveling too much, working too much, someone passed, someone got beat, you know, you lost a job, there's something going on. You know what I mean? As us coaches, we gotta find out how we can motivate them, how they know we're there for them. But you guys, at the end of the day, that bad apple, trust me on this, they're usually the most insecure person there is, and they just need love from their friends and teammates to show them that you care, and you're not gonna outcast them and say, screw you. That's a great question. That's a hard question too. Guys, we've been talking about some real stuff here. You know what I mean? And so leave today, when we leave here, understand that these coaches care about you, okay? And you have an opportunity to be great, not only in baseball, but in life, if you choose to. We're born in America, okay? 88% of the world doesn't get 3 meals a day. Think about that right there. You get an opportunity to play baseball. You know what I mean? 88% of the world doesn't, like, they just don't get food every day. And you get an opportunity to be at a beautiful high school with coaches that care, an opportunity to play the game that millions of kids have never born with the ability to be able to swing, throw, run, do the things you can do. So take today and make a difference in someone's life. Make a change in your own heart, in your own mind to say, what do I want to accomplish today? Because when you're born in America, you have an opportunity to do whatever you want. Whether it be in baseball, whether it be in business, whether it be in college, everything's right in front of you. Everything is right in front of you. You just gotta say, am I gonna make an excuse or am I gonna make an adjustment? And if you're constantly making adjustments, you can do whatever you want in this life. You really can. So don't let anybody, a coach, a program, nobody ever tell you you can't do something. Don't ever let anybody tell you that. Okay? Because you have an opportunity to do whatever you want to accomplish in life. Okay? So take heart to that and understand, look in the mirror, say, I'm gonna be the difference maker, I'm gonna make the adjustment, I'm gonna be a good teammate, I'm gonna be a good friend. If you choose to wake up with that mindset every day, okay, you're a lot more likely to be successful. And our pastor, who passed away almost 5.5 years ago now, he told us what we can accomplish together, we can never do alone. What we can accomplish together, what you can accomplish together, coaching staff, JV, varsity, freshmen, culture, what you can do together, you can never do alone. The guy doesn't throw a no-hitter by himself. He needs a catcher and a defense behind him, even though he's on his best stuff that day. Okay? So rub shoulders with people that want to be successful. Play catch with someone that wants to move their feet and get better versus standing there lobbing the ball. You know what I mean? Do homework with people that are smarter than you. I do that a lot. You're welcome. My point is, guys, you guys following me? Like, rub shoulders with people, surround yourself with people that want to be successful in life. Okay? Like that. If you are that and you surround yourself with that, you can accomplish anything. You can accomplish anything, but you can't do it alone. Okay? Surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that want to be successful. You'll be successful in life, baseball, business, whatever you choose to do. All right?
Thank you guys for
Thanks,
listening
guys, for the
today.
time. Yes.
One more thing, if you guys ever want to make